because recently I had like just kind of a burnout, not like a big one, but that I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't even want to learn anything new.
You are listening to and maybe watching Off Brief.
And we are rolling. So, hey there, I'm Andesh. You're Rui.
Yeah.
Can you fully pronounce your name? Because you have an interesting name.
Rui Ramalhete.
Oh, fuck, I can't replicate that. Rui Ramalhete.
Yeah.
It's a bad. So first of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a thing that I really wanted to start off like 2 years ago. And now I've reached the point that I think I'm able to do that. This is the first episode that I do in English. So this will be a Hungarian show, by the way. I mean, I'm aiming for that as well. So yeah, this should be interesting. We have a few things that I'd like to discuss with you. We've had a previous conversation where we've covered some. And basically, I want this session or platform to give us the ability to have an in-depth conversation about topics that we find interesting, maybe from a designer's focus or a designer's perspective, maybe even touching on lifestyle, sports, how we deal with burnout, how we deal with design things, clients, work, a lot of work maybe. So stuff like that.
That's
and
great, man.
we can start off wherever we want. I just wanted to give the future audience something to grasp on and spark their interest. So yeah, that's it. If you feel that your headphones are uncomfortable, if you want a half year free, you can also do that. So yeah, we should have this equipment for, I know, around 3 hours, but we're free.
Nice.
So originally, you were born in Portugal, Lisbon. Is that correct?
So yeah, I'm from Lisbon. Cool city to visit. So go ahead and
I've been there. I've been there once. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a nice city, but yeah, I'm out of home for 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I started my career in Lisbon, mainly in digital marketing agencies.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for three or 4 years.
Oh wait, sorry. Just to set the context, we've been colleagues for kind of 1.5 years within UX Studio.
Yeah.
So what brings you to me and into this situation overall is that we've known each other from the UX Studio days. So yeah, that's kind of just the context that I want to set. Please continue.
But yeah, then I still in Portugal. I worked in those marketing agencies, but then I decided I wanted to try something else. So I moved to Denmark, to Copenhagen.
How old were you, if I can ask, at this point?
So 25.
Okay, yeah.
25, 26. Yeah. And but yeah, basically I decided to go to study again, take my course, and it was a really good decision to move out of my hometown and my country.
Did you go to school?
Yeah, university there.
University for how many years?
3 years.
3 years, like a basic, normal education.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And but yeah, so Denmark is known because the education is for free, but of course the living costs are super high. So while I was studying there, I was working part-time with the Danish startup.
So you weren't, serving tables or anything? You weren't a barista at a local coffee shop? Or?
No, I did for 1 month, which felt like a year. I was delivering newspapers from 1 a.m. till the morning. Yeah,
that's a good time to fit in.
It was interesting, a bit hard, but yeah, as I said,
only for 1 month.
For 1 month, but it felt forever because it was. I only worked two times a day. 2 times a week, Friday and Saturday, sometimes Sunday, if I didn't have school on Monday.
And the rest of the days you spent in school.
Yeah. But yeah, it was bad. And so I decided, okay, if I cannot survive and if I have to do this job only, then I'll go back to Portugal. I'm not going to deliver newspapers anymore. Not that there is anything wrong. It's just, it's not for me. I went there to study, not to make that my working life.
Sure.
And yeah, so while I was looking for a job, and then I found like a startup. We needed a designer, and they needed a designer part-time.
So at this point, you were already doing some design, also from school and on your own, maybe?
Yeah, so when I went to Denmark, I already had the background as a designer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but because I was working on the design, on the marketing agencies as a designer.
As a designer?
Yeah.
I thought...
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I had experience as a designer, so it was relatively easy for me to get a part-time as a designer.
I see.
Because of the experience. I did some gigs for the school as well to shoot some videos for the school. Would helped on the money, but it was not, it was not recurrent, so I had to find something more stable. But yeah, I found that startup. I continued to work with them. It was actually in Denmark where I started to get to know more. Aware of what UX and product design is, because before on marketing agencies I was basically working on campaigns and only visuals.
Were you called an art director in its classical sense, or
no,
were you more like a graphic
web designer? Yeah, there are no more
Photoshop
designers, right?
times. Photoshop times, yeah.
And Flash.
And Flash. Oh, Flash. Yeah. I've actually skipped the Flash path.
Oh man, it was awesome. I really enjoyed working on it back then. Like I knew a bit of ActionScript. Yeah.
ActionScript 2.0?
Or I don't remember. I just knew the commands, to stop an animation, continue an animation, like some, the click. I don't even remember how it is, but when you click on a button, then you put the command.
It triggers an action.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was basically doing in Portugal, and I was fed up with that. And that's the reason that I wanted to go back to study, to learn a bit more and to take a break from what I was doing. But in Denmark, yeah, it was really, in Copenhagen, it was really awesome I learned a lot there. So it kind of opened this new road for me.
Did you find a great mentor for you, or was it multiple people who inspired you or influenced you in a way? Why I'm asking is because I found that the Danish culture has this keen eye on design and details. All in all,
I was actually the sole designer for that startup, but when I joined, they had like a UX designer working them, but he was doing exclusively UX. He didn't do any visuals. And
maybe wireframes, so like not mainly research in terms of UX, but
he was doing research and the wireframes.
And wireframes, okay.
And
so
I joined only to do the visuals back then. But then, let me try to remember. Yeah, he left the startup, and then I started to do more UX as well. So I started to wireframe the whole product. I started to work on wireframes, and I didn't do any tests back then.
Like user tests?
Yeah, I did some very basic ones, like not very with a deep knowledge. So it was very basic. But it's where I start to get introduced more into this world, per se. And then, and as I mentioned, I stayed in Denmark for 3 years. And then when I finished my course, I was checking a lot of opportunities, like even in Denmark, if I would stay there. In Denmark is where I met my girlfriend. She's Hungarian.
You met your Hungarian girlfriend
in Denmark?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's nice. Cool story.
So we were thinking, okay, do we stay here? But then she had to come back to Hungary.
She was in school too there, right?
No, she was working there.
Oh,
I met her through a friend, a common friend that we met at school, and then she was a friend of my friend. So yeah, we were thinking that what we do we stay here? So I started to send to a lot of places, and the idea is, okay, I'll send to a place, and then we go together and we'll see what happens. So I applied for a lot of companies, but at the end I was hired by Trivago in Düsseldorf in Germany. And And the plan, was for me to go, try to settle, and then she would come. But then she got a job here, and through
here in Budapest.
In Budapest.
Yeah.
And while I was working in Trivago, I mean, I really enjoyed to work there, but I didn't want to stay apart, so it was a bit hard, you know, these long distance relationships.
For how long were you guys doing it?
1 year.
But I mean, 1 year can be quite long.
Yeah, but even before, like in Denmark, so we started in Denmark. She came here before me. So it was like 1 year, maybe a bit more.
Okay.
In total. But so that's after Dusseldorf, after Trivago, then I decided, okay, I maybe it's easier for me to try to get a job wherever you are. So she was here in Budapest, back home. So I moved here to Budapest. Initially, I continued to work as a freelancer with the guys that I met in Copenhagen. So I made good connections there. And I mean, we're still really good friends, and I really like to work with them. And
they stayed there in Copenhagen, right?
Yeah, they're Danish.
Okay.
The startup is Danish. And then I started to work with them, and then my objective was just to work as a freelancer and to see how it goes. But then I decided after Trivago. And then I decided to see, let me check how is the market here, because I had zero knowledge about companies here in Budapest. How was the market?
Did you want to go back into the world of ad agencies in any way, or you were not looking for them?
No, not ad agencies. I put that completely on my past. No, I just wanted to check how the market was and what kind of companies there are. And to be honest, I didn't apply for too many, but one of them was UX Studio, where we met. And it was really good, really, really nice, really cool company. It's growing now. When I joined, it was like still quite small. So it was like perfect for me. It was a small company where I
7 people or 5 people even when you started?
It was a bit more.
A bit more. So you didn't really start at the very beginning of their initial startup?
Well, I would say it's like 10, 11, 12 people.
Okay, but now they're around 30, you said?
Yeah, something like that, I think. I stayed in UX Studio for 2 years and a half, more or less, almost 3 years. And I learned a lot there. I managed to work with different cool clients in different, so here from Budapest and also from other parts of the world. Like we went to Dubai, we went to Switzerland. So I had fun during the time that I was there, and I learned a lot. But after these 2.5 years, I decided that, okay, maybe I want to try something different. I want to go back to try how is it to be a freelancer. And so I left UX Studio end of last year. So now I'm kind of
and you're currently at this stage where you're a freelancer.
Yeah.
And you've found a job that you can work remotely in, right?
Yeah. So when I went as a freelancer, then I talk again with the guys from Denmark. Again, the same.
Cool people. Cool people.
So I managed to continue to work with them during a few months. But I mean, they don't always have work. So I decided to look for something more stable. And this is the period when something like since last month, where I got to learn that maybe the freelance designer is not what I was looking for. What I really looking for was, for me, it had to be remote and flexible. When I say flexible, it's not like okay, I start to work from noon and then I go to. I don't mind to work from 9 to.
We've had some flexibility within UX Studio,
we had a lot.
two home office days per week.
Yeah.
Was that the rule, kind of?
Yeah.
And no real work hours, just whatever you set for yourself, but you have to be there for the main meetings, right?
Yeah. Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, UX Studio was like what made me think and maybe believe that I could work as a freelancer.
Okay.
Because the way we worked there was, kind of how freelancers work, but inside the community.
Okay.
This is how I felt.
That's nicely put that way. Yeah.
I think you have probably the same feeling. But I thought, okay, if I really want to try this freelance thing, I have to try now, before I have a family and kids, and so I just went for it. And as I mentioned, I started to work with the guys from Copenhagen, back with them, and then when I started to have less work, I started to look for what do I do next? Should I look for I have to look for clients all the time for small projects.
Okay.
Maybe I don't want that.
You don't want to deal with the sales part.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I knew that this was coming, but when you get there,
it's inevitable.
Yeah. So I started to look like.
Wait, how would you differentiate what you call remote work and freelance?
No, I think I would differentiate remote freelancer with the contractor.
Okay, so working remote as a contractor.
Yeah, I think it's different because as a freelance, as I mentioned, you have to
search for jobs,
for projects, or for clients. As a contractor, you can have like a long-term contract.
And a long-term relationship with them.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. And you don't have to be in the office. So the client that I will work with next, they are based in the UK. It's a startup in the UK, but I will be here in Budapest. And
that's great.
Yeah. So this is actually what I want. So I didn't start yet. So I will start in next month in March. But I'm really excited to see. It's a new phase of my life, and I want to see how it goes.
So you also get the stability of a job. So you know that you'll have a job next month.
Yeah.
You don't have to always look for new projects.
Yeah.
And you also have the flexibility side, which gives you the ability to travel to Lisbon, maybe to your family.
That's actually a very important thing. So my aim with all of this is to spend more time in Lisbon with my family and friends without like taking holidays.
I see.
Yeah.
Currently, how often can you go?
I go, at least I try to go once every 2 months.
Okay.
Like for 2 weeks, which is pretty good. Before I went 2 weeks, like in the summer, and then 2 weeks in the Christmas. That's it. But now I can go a lot more often, and this is kind of the ideal for me. And let's see, maybe at some point I'll move back to Lisbon, but that doesn't depend on me.
How does your girlfriend think about that or feel about that, rather?
I think she wants to go as well, but she needs to learn Portuguese.
Okay.
It's the same. I mean, I'm here. I don't speak a word of Hungarian.
Not a word, really?
Some words.
You know Sia or obvious.
Yeah, and the other curse
stuff.
words.
Yeah, okay.
But I know some words, but when I hear a phrase, like, I don't understand what people are talking about.
Can you order food? Can you order pizza in Hungarian?
No.
No? Okay.
I use Volt.
Okay.
What is the other?
Netpincer?
Netpincer, yeah. But in our field, it doesn't. I mean, it matters if you live in a country, and it's good always to learn the language. But to work, I don't need to learn Hungarian. All right, it's enough to be in English. So I'm more free in that sense. So, but if she moves to Portugal, it's a bit harder to get on her field, on her area, to get a job that she can speak in English or Hungarian. So I think she needs to learn Portuguese at some point. But yeah, she's smarter than me, so she will easily learn.
Does she have good language skills? Because being smart is just one part of it.
No, but she has really good.
That's good. And like, I don't know, one aspect could be one difficult aspect could be leaving the community and the friends, the circle that you have behind for a while.
Yeah, actually, it's hard. But in the beginning, it was not hard at all, because I was kind of really fed up of I was not fed up from my family and friends, but I was fed up with the life that I had in Portugal. And when I went to Denmark, I went to study. So I went to a school with international people. So everyone was at the same level. And
you had a community there.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. So I won't say that I didn't miss them, my family and friends back home, but it was easier that I been to, as you said, like with the community that everyone was.
So you think that if you'll move maybe together with your girlfriend, she won't be feeling that sense of loss in terms of what she's leaving behind, but because she'll be able to, I don't know, join a new community, a new school, a new work environment.
If she, I don't know.
Yeah, that, I mean,
It depends. I mean, my friends in Portugal are now her friends as well.
oh, well, that's a very good start. Then.
Yeah,
I
so-
didn't know that. Sorry.
We are together for a long time, so.
So you've kind of
Yeah,
grown
yeah.
together. That's good.
But I think her transition would be relatively easy. I think, and I hope so, because for now I'm very good here, so I don't think much about it. But the more the time passes, the more I miss. I don't miss Portugal per se, but I miss my family and friends.
Okay.
This is
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
so because a location is a location. I mean, I'm good here. This is like my home now, although like a weird home because I don't speak the language, so I cannot do a lot of things by myself. For example, go to the bank. I have to go with my girlfriend. Go to the doctor. I have to go with my girlfriend.
She's your personal translator.
Yeah.
That's
Deal with the
funny.
taxes. She do. But I cannot complain there.
I see. So you're saying that without her help, you'd find some things like navigating in the city even more difficult, right?
No, as a tourist, I don't think there's a problem. But if it wouldn't be for her, I don't think I would move here. It would be very hard. It was already a bit hard for me to do some things in Germany. And I speak a little bit of German, just very, very tiny bit, like the basics. But here, I think it would be impossible, I'd say. No, I don't know. Because my experience, I never had the experience of dealing with things by myself here. My girlfriend always backed me up. So I don't know how it would be, but I have the feeling that it would be very hard for me to...
I see. I can imagine. I mean, I'm still thinking about whether I want to move into a foreign country, maybe even Denmark, or to mention a city, Copenhagen, where you lived, or to see the Netherlands, or to see other parts of Scandinavia. I'm very, I don't know, curious to see how life is there.
What keeps you back?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things. I don't know, currently life, my girlfriend, the family that I have here, many things. But I'm still exploring the possibility, maybe one day, to see how life is in a foreign country.
It's not easy to move abroad, but it's a good experience. On your professional and personal life, I think you can grow a lot. So I can only...
Yeah, you've experienced it. So you speak from empirical evidence-based things. Yeah. So currently, I mean, you will start your new job in kind of 1 month or later on. And in terms of traveling, do you do any other travels other than going to Lisbon and back to Budapest, or visiting the world is kind of postponed for other periods?
No, actually, recently, last year, I took a month off and went to Sydney. My sister lives there, so we had a place to stay.
Wow.
So it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, but I travel a lot. I mean, when I was in UX Studio, we traveled a lot also to meet clients, which was really cool.
I know that you were working in Dubai as well, right?
Yeah. We had a project there with I was working with Jolty, our friend, that we also met at UX Studio. And then I had another project in Switzerland. So those travels, I like to travel like that to clients, but if it's not too frequent, otherwise
If it's not too frequent.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you don't have a problem with work-related travels, just that you don't want to make it your life.
Yeah, I mean, to travel, to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. or earlier, to take the plane, to go for a meeting and return, no. I'd rather stay there for like a week.
Or 3 days. Or
3 days, whatever. But to do like a trip for one single meeting, it's annoying. I mean, so I had to do it, but I don't like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even though we have all this technology, we have Skype calls, remote conferences, all those, people still want to see your face, be there with you physically, be able to test whether they can trust you or not.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the key reasons that people still get together, because if you don't have the trust, you can't build any relationship on it.
Yeah, but but I understand that part. Even I feel more comfortable when I meet with the client personally than if it's just like those Skype or Slack meetings. I don't know. What do you feel about that? I think everyone has the same.
I think for the starting phase of a project, it's very important to meet personally,
right,
to build up that trust. And once you have that, you can kind of transition into the technology side of it. Like, you still have meetings on Skype Business or Slack or whatever. But if you don't have that first period and you want to solve or try to solve everything remotely, I've seen that it usually doesn't really work optimally. Even though you can kind of do it, it will not be much of a bonding there or much of a connection.
You mean in the long term?
Yes, and in the sense of the project itself. So people just will not be that engaged in doing the work. At least that's my experience, and that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, but I kind of agree. I mean, so at least from what I understood is that you feel that people need to at least meet once in a while.
Yes.
During the period of not only
especially in the first period, but having
that's
recurring personal meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, along the way, that's a helping part.
I agree.
So yeah, that's all work.
Yeah, but I travel, or at least I try to travel as much as possible on holidays. Sorry. As I mentioned, I went to Sydney. It was like a very cool month when I just relaxed. I didn't even thought about work. I didn't even want to.
A month-long break.
Yeah,
that's what I'm aiming for.
Awesome.
That's good.
Just relaxing in the sun. It was February here. It was summer there.
And you didn't even have to pay for
staying.
Accommodation. Yeah.
That was even better.
Did you do any surfing?
No
surfing there.
No, my surf skills are very, very, very bad. When I was in Portugal, I was surfing more regularly. I was never a pro or anything. It's just for fun. But since I left,
wait, do you own a surfboard? Do you have your own?
Yeah.
Okay,
I do. A very big one, like not a professional one, but like.
They say that you have to have multiple ones, different sizes and different shapes and all that, so that each wave is different. Is that true? Or I mean, I've only took a few lessons in surfing. And
not sure if the wave is different, and also the type of surf you want to do. I don't know much about like on the same. So I know the difference between like a smaller board that you can surf you can get some speed, for example, on the long board where you can play around a bit more. If I could choose, for sure, I would go for the long board. I mean, not because it's easier. It's just it feels that it's more fun. I don't have space to own a long board. To store it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to carry in the car and everything. So mine is like that mid-turn. It's like a beginner's board, let's say.
Okay. But it's a fiber board, not a foam board. That's important. Real shit.
Yeah. But I don't do it. So actually next week, I already talked to a friend of mine. So we go this Saturday, actually. We go surf together. I will get some classes because for me, I cannot start like, it's not like riding a bike. I have to.
So you can forget all the skills and techniques.
I forgot everything. I couldn't even get up when I went to the class. I felt so ridiculous. I got so pissed.
And you start off on the foam again. I mean, just
with the foam board.
The end part.
From the very beginning. But that's okay. I still had fun. My purpose with the sports and that it's not, I'm not going to compete. I need to have fun. And I went back to basics and I had fun. That's what matters.
Okay. That's the hard part with surfing, I think, because the learning curve that you have until you get to the point that you call fun, or at least I would call fun, is at a kind of mid-advanced level, not the very beginner place where you can't even stand up, or you can stand up but just be there for a few seconds, not more.
For me, that's already fun.
Oh, that's okay.
Seriously, just the thing to go to water,
That's true. That's true, though.
It feels so good. When I work in Portugal, in the first company that I worked, our company was really close to the beach. So it's just, we could even walk to the beach.
Wow.
So
You're spoiled.
yeah, it's really amazing. The place, the location. But sometimes me and some colleagues went to surf at lunchtime. Yeah,
That's ridiculous, man.
They were kind of like more advanced, and I was still, a noob. But it was amazing. It's a good way to spend the lunchtime.
I guess so. Let's hop out for some surf. Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
really. You don't have that here.
No.
We only have Balaton, and that's good for not a lot.
And I've never been there.
You've never been to Balaton?
I'm here for 3.5 years. Never been to Balaton. I went too close to Balaton to pick my dog, because my dog is from from there.
Okay.
But never been to the lake.
Mm-hmm. You don't really want to go there, right?
Oh, I do. I want to know. I want to meet.
Is it part of your girlfriend's, I don't know, childhood experience, being at Lake Balaton and stuff like that? Because I find that people who live there, Balaton is kind of their one of their crucial memories that they have from their childhood. And I don't have that because I was not born in Hungary. I was born in Romania and in a Hungarian city that's now detached.
Okay.
So that's why I have this name, although I was born and raised in a Hungarian environment, in a Hungarian family. So that's my mother tongue, but I don't have the experience of Balaton, and I've only moved in Budapest when I was 13, around when I was 13, yeah.
Okay, but I don't know if she had. I mean, I know she went a few times to Balaton, but I don't know if it was like that present in her life when she was a child.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, I've just found that for many people, it's one of their key things that they've experienced.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just. Yeah.
But the thing is that every time people talk about it, and they talk so well about it, that I'm always curious to go. And
I think it's nostalgia.
Maybe
nothing more.
But I
really.
never had the opportunity. I mean, I had the opportunity, but it just never happened. Mm-hmm. I always think, okay, let's go next summer, next spring.
If you go, let me know.
Yeah.
Eat langos. They say that.
Oh, I love
langos at Balaton is always better.
I love that. That's one of my favorite foods here.
Really?
Yeah.
Langos
is the kind of
that one.
The pizza.
The pizza-like thing with.
I really like that. It was the first thing I ate here in Hungary. my favorite. I know it's very caloric and it's not that good for you, but
yeah, it's fatty.
Yeah,
but it's good.
Look at me.
And I don't know. I feel that if we're talking food and in terms of culinary experiences, Budapest has grown immensely in the past five years. I think we have much more variety and a lot of more places to choose from. Yeah,
I saw. I mean, I didn't know how it was before, but recently there's a lot of types of restaurants. I mean, more and more, I'm this is not a real sentence, but I'm eating less meat.
Really?
Nowadays, yeah. So
You're aiming for less meat.
Yeah, I'm not vegetarian or anything.
Okay.
But
just cutting down just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit. Also because it's not good for my stomach. So
are you going for more veggies or more fruits or more?
More veggies, yeah.
Okay.
So at least I know that there are really, really cool vegetarian burger places that I love. Really.
What would you recommend? You can give a recommendation.
Oh, wait. Vegan Love?
Vegan Love? Okay.
That's my favorite. And there was another one. But it was not burgers. It was like tortillas and like Mexican food, but vegetarian. Oof. I think maybe it's even better. I love that. Because for me, I mean, when I'm at home, I like to cook a lot. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It takes a lot of time to prepare meat, and
that's true. That's true.
It's kind of
depends on the kind of meat as well. But that's true.
So I try to go for fast things and more simple. And I mean, veggies is quite easy to prepare.
Do you feel there's any big difference in what type of food you can buy in Lisbon and then Budapest, or the quality of food maybe?
Depends. I mean, regarding veggies and vegetables and fruits, maybe not so much. But one thing that I miss a lot here is fish. I mean,
we don't have sea.
Yeah.
So we can only import stuff.
So when I go to Portugal, when I go to a restaurant, I only eat fish.
Only
It's very. Sometimes I go to burger places with friends, but when I can,
surf and turf.
yeah, when I can, it's like go for the good fish. That's the thing that I miss the most. And yeah, here we can buy frozen fish, which is okay, but
It's
the fresh
not
one.
fresh.
And that also affects the restaurants. For example, when you eat a fish dish or seafood dish here, it's good, the taste, but it's
But it
not
will
exactly
never
the
be
same.
the level
So,
of.
yeah, you don't feel the freshness, So yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. Well, we have to go to authentic places where they sell
Yeah.
seasonal food, and hopefully that's something that they've just got from their sources.
But yeah, the food here, I cannot complain. I mean, it's good. I like it. I'm not really into very typical dishes, like what's that one with the most known, like the goulash thing.
Yeah, the goulash.
I mean,
but it's whatever.
Not a big fan. I like it, but I mean, I don't ask in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I mean, go to a restaurant, like as you mentioned, there are like a lot of new types of restaurants here, and I mean the food is pretty good. Cannot complain.
Because just one side comment, and then we can close on this topic. When we were working in the city with UX Studio, we've had like a bunch of places that we could go to for lunch.
Yeah.
And now I'm working in above Koloshi Square, which is more far off. Mm-hmm. And obviously you have the local kind of shitty restaurants that offer food for all the people that work in the near buildings, basically. If you don't want to go 200 meters more, that's kind of the base thing that they can offer. So I really feel that the number of choices is kind of cut down.
Okay.
And I like to eat a variety of things, and I like to, see and sit in restaurants. So now we have a more limited palette, basically. But now that Volt is...
Oh, man, I tried Volt.
Is launched.
Only once. I really enjoyed the app, like the whole experience. It was really nice. Like they put the countdown when it comes.
Yes. Have you seen the Easter egg within that app?
No, which one?
That whenever you order food and the countdown starts, you can start tapping.
Oh yeah.
And
the burgers are
food emojis will start popping up.
Yeah.
But if you continue, you get a 5-second countdown, and within that 5 seconds, you can kind of tap very fast. And if you reach a certain number of taps, let's say 60, you get a free coupon, a free delivery coupon.
Okay.
So
next time,
next time you open up Volt and
that.
order food, you can do that and get a free delivery.
Nice.
Yeah, just
Good
a
tip.
small Easter egg. No, because I think it's also interesting for us as UX designers, like how different that experience is from NetBeansEd, the competitor.
Yeah.
I would say.
I never used the NetBeansEd app, for example. I don't know how it is compared to the websites. I use the website a lot. Just
still a bit clunky.
Yeah. But Volt seemed very... I mean, the whole experience is very smooth.
It is.
Some nice interactions.
Animations.
Interactions. So it made the whole experience quite nice. Is it? I don't know. No, is it Hungarian Volt or? I don't even know.
No, I think it's Finnish.
Okay.
Oh, as Taxify. So Taxify is also, I think, from the Scandinavian region or based somewhere there. And I do think that they're very good in offering a good service that is easily scalable, and a lot of people can get work off of it, from it. And I've just seen an article of a Wolt delivery guy kind of making quite a buck for their work, I mean.
A Wolt delivery guy?
A Wolt delivery guy,
Wow.
I think, can make around 350,000 forints if they work their asses off, I guess.
Yeah, but it must be really tough.
Yeah, it must be. I mean,
Man, just
either
to
you
think,
have a bike, either you have a motorcycle
Yeah.
or a car. Sure, you have to work your ass off, but
just to think compared with the experience that I mentioned, like to deliver newspapers with a bike at night, but just to think about, going with the bike I don't ride a bike here. I get stressed with all the cars and stuff.
I do ride a bike here. I mean, in starting from end of spring till end of autumn.
And isn't it stressful for you?
It is.
Man.
But I mean, I still don't have a driver's license. So it's one of my main choices that I go with. And I find it to be very quick, although I also find it to be quite dangerous and sometimes difficult if you want to get to.
There's some places with nice bike lanes, I noticed. I mean, nice.
It's nothing compared to, I don't know, Stockholm or the Netherlands, the Copenhagen even. They're optimized for bikes. We're not. We're really optimized for, although I think our public transport is not that bad.
No, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's actually very good.
Yeah, watch out for Hungarians who complain about BKV, but they're actually not that bad.
What is that? It's the main company.
Yeah, the main company.
I mean, the metro is super fast. If in Lisbon, a metro takes if you miss one metro, only comes 12 minutes later. Here it's every 2 minutes. It's okay.
That's good.
That's very good for me.
Yeah, but with a bike, you can be quite quick, and you can get to places. You have to watch the cars. You have to watch, obviously, the traffic. You have to be careful. But get a road bike that is not single speed. Single speed will only get you in places that, easily that are kind of flat. And on the Buddha side, on the residential side, we have quite a few, slopes.
Yeah.
That's more difficult.
I can imagine. Yeah, but to make that, you ride it not, I don't know if regularly, but at least it's go from, to go to from home to work or something like that. But those guys make it.
Yeah,
it's their living style, but
it's their job.
I
It's
respect
very
a lot
different.
that.
Yeah, I respect that too. I do respect that. So, is there anything that you'd like to touch on? You'd like to ask me? I want to ask you a few things though. Also, you've kind of walked me through the timeline of how you got from one company to the other and from university to where you are now. And previously we've discussed the topic of either having the imposter syndrome or dealing with breakdown. Do you want to touch on that maybe? Yeah,
sure. We actually talked about the imposter syndrome the other day. Yeah. I mean, it's actually, what do you feel about? Because what I feel is that it affects me more than it should.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a bad thing, because that's what pushes me to try better and to be better.
That's very nicely put. I do agree with that.
Makes me go back and read 101 articles about a subject or beginner
about the craft. Yeah.
So go back to basics, not to forget, because this imposter syndrome. As far as I heard, it's pretty common among designers and creative people. But it's actually something that it pushes me to to review the things that I learned, to try to be better. If I feel like I'm an imposter and I don't know this, and people think I know, but maybe I don't know. I will try to dig more into the subject, and I think it makes me learn more.
I've read an article where they've kind of tried to break down the structure and the mechanics of how it works. So they've said that once you get comfortable with a certain topic or with a certain skill or something that you've learned, and you do it in a recurring manner, you will take it for granted that you have that knowledge and that you have the experience and have the skill, and you will forget what it was to not have it. And having reached the state of knowledge that you now take for granted, you feel that it's too easy. And moving along, you kind of always have to remind yourself that there was a point in your time when you did not know how to do that certain thing. So let's say that maybe as a UX designer, I was really uncomfortable with doing anything in the field of research, like doing a user test session, how to talk to that person, how to introduce him to the whole, or him or her to the whole situation, how to explain it, how to properly lead with the questions that will not be from a biased place, and all these things. So the key takeaway here is that if you feel that it's dragging you down, and if you feel that it's keeping you from doing something, you kind of can play a mental game of going back to the point and seeing where you've started, and seeing the process and how much you've learned and how much you've grown. And if you can make yourself feel more comfortable doing that, then maybe that's one way to kind of deal with it.
But you do it as a mental process, or you I don't know, read articles about.
Oh no, I mean, it's a constant struggle. There's a lot of things that I don't find myself to be confident in. Like, I know you have to do a presentation on something that you're not completely sure of, and you have not learned it fully. You don't have a script. Some parts you kind of improvise. If you're comfortable doing that, and if you're comfortable in not having a fully scripted version of the situation that you're doing, it's fine. But oftentimes I also feel that sharing what I know and sharing what I think is a good process, maybe in design even, can debunk the whole I am a designer myth that could be a myth, and could be something that I will eventually find to be untrue. That's kind of the fear that you, or at least I have, that if you share what you know, or share what you think you know, it will debunk that, oh, only that? And then you kind of have to build back up, and bring back all the experiences that you've had that are positive in the sense, and then that you have proven to be successful in, to be knowledgeable in, to be resourceful in, like really being able to help people. And if you can, I mean, for me, if I can bring those memories back, it's good that I have them first. It kind of can build me back up. I mean, I found it to be helpful. Well, it's a feeling.
Yeah, and also, for example, you mentioned that you share your past, or your knowledge.
Yes.
And it's also good for the people who also,
or in the process of learning, maybe, or.
So what I
didn't want to
mentioned,
finish your sentence. I kind of wanted to.
What you share is like what I would probably read. I don't know how would you share, but let's say that you will write an article about your struggle.
Okay.
When I read about it, maybe it makes me aware or more conscious about my own struggles, because I mean,
you can relate to them.
Yeah, you can relate to them. So that's a good thing that you mentioned about the sharing. It's something that I should do more. For example, I don't share much about. I should write more articles about my own experience, for example, or like what you're doing now with the podcast. It's really interesting, and something that I definitely should do more, and put myself out, let's say.
Yeah.
And that actually might help a lot, and it's something that
I hope that it will help. It's also a point that I find myself to be fearful in a lot of the times. I'm really not comfortable with a lot of things, although it may seem like I'm doing it. I wouldn't say naturally, but just doing it. It may seem easy, but I do find a lot of processes to be full of struggle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, feeling it is not always good, and it can kind of affect your experience in a negative way. And I think the aim is not to be smarter than everyone or appear more knowledgeable. It's the the end goal, I would think, is to be helpful in the situation.
It's for me, it's not much about what the fear of what others might think, but it's what I feel about myself.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
see?
that's interesting. But
Like, for example, I don't care, but it's not that, okay, a client or my colleagues think that I don't know a certain thing.
okay.
It's that sometimes I feel that I might not be able to accomplish, but that's not fearful for me. I mean, that's what makes me try to push myself to learn
Okay.
or relearn something. But it's not, at least what I this what's the term, the imposter syndrome. For me, it's not the feeling that I have of myself, not others feel about me. That's kind of not irrelevant for me, but it's secondary.
Secondary to what you feel inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it's I need to be sure. I always like to be sure that I can do something. That doesn't mean that I don't try, but I like to feel in control. And sometimes if I don't know something or if I forget, it kind of stresses me.
Okay.
And I need to relearn everything,
Okay.
or read about it. You see?
Here's a question. Have you ever had a client ask you something that you weren't sure that you could do, and then maybe you failed, maybe you've completed the project successfully? I don't know what experiences you have. Feel free to share anything. What I'm interested in is, has this feeling that you had inside kind of blocked you from even sending the invoice for that failed project, like for something that you think you have not completed fully? So for a job that you think you've only done, I don't know, 60% or 70% of what it should actually be. And I'm really asking for whether you've had an experience of failure. And
not in that sense, but what you mentioned, that if the client already asked me something that I felt I couldn't do, that happened, of course. But then I read how to do it.
Okay.
And I try to learn how to do it. I never.
That's amazing. That's a very good.
It's very rare
skill.
that I say no. I mean, I'm always honest. So, okay, I never tried this, but let's try it.
You're transparent in your skills.
You have to be, because if you lie, and then they will notice.
They'll find out eventually.
Yeah. So if it's something that you don't do for, sorry, something that you never did or you don't do for a long time, let's imagine to run a design sprint.
Okay.
If let's say that I had a lot of experience, but I didn't do for a long time. Okay, let's do one. I was like, oh, maybe I have to review everything. You can say that you did, but you don't do it for a long time. You just have to be honest. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't say anything and you just go for it. But it never happened that I said, okay, no, sorry, I cannot do it. Ask someone else. No, I do it, but just give me some time.
One of the key points, key insights for me from what you've said is to feel in control, right? So if you feel in control, you feel that everything kind of happens in the right pace, it goes in the right direction. Yeah. But if you feel that it's chaos, maybe inverse or the other part of feeling in control, is that something that you can implement within your thought process? Is that something that you can deal with, or you really want to rethink everything and get back into control? So can you finish something while the process is very chaotic?
So so during the process?
Yes.
I think you have to give a step back and
get back in control.
Yeah, get back in control.
Okay. Yeah, because
organize it. I mean, otherwise it goes out of your hand and it will go wrong. I mean, you can get always some takeaways from that, but if you have the possibility to have a break or stop that process and try to do it again, or just reorganize it, then it's better.
Okay.
But if you fail, screw it. You learn from it, and then next time probably you won't do it. But you always have to to have that in consideration and at least learn with your mistakes. And that's actually how I learned most of my things, by doing mistakes. I mean, I did so many. I failed so many times, but that's not.
People don't usually talk about it. People usually just share their successes and share their
but yeah, I think that's
pretty
normal.
things on Dribble.
But of course, but I think failure is important to share.
I agree.
I should share more. I mean, this is the thing. All my process and everything that I succeeded or failed, I should share more. But I'm actually more aware of my failures because that's what makes me learn. Mm-hmm. And I'm not ashamed of them or anything. It's just it happened. Next time I won't do it. If I do it again, screw it. Then the next one I won't.
That's a very good attitude, and I envy you in the sense that, as you explain it, it seems very easy, and it seems easy to replicate. I mean, you've described the mechanics of your thinking and described how it works for you, but I do feel that a lot of people can get stuck and can still stay at the spot of not being able to do it or thinking that they're not able to do it.
It happened to me, but then you have to ask for help, and
that's also an important and crucial part. I mean, asking for help. Not everyone's comfortable doing that.
Yeah, but that's a mistake. You can, for example, I don't ask for help on this like design communities. I don't write my problems to like any design communities or share on like those community Slack channels.
Okay.
I ask like to other designers that are closer to me. Then what would you do like this way, or give me some feedback on this thing. Again, this is something that I should do more for sure, but I think by asking for help, it can solve or can help you to solve a lot of problems.
Can you share an experience where you also kind of explain what happened, or like give me an example for one of your failures?
I think
it could do with any part of the work. It doesn't have to be only design. It could be a communication issue. I find those to be frequent.
No, let me think. No, it's for example a project that was I felt that I was a bit out of control when I was working is the project that we work in Dubai.
Okay. Because
it was the first project that I was also working as like a project manager from the client side.
Okay.
And the team was a bit bigger. It was
how many people?
2 designers, at some point 3, and 1 researcher. Mm-hmm. And then the client was there were so many. I don't know. There were some people in Australia, some in Dubai, but I felt that I couldn't handle that well. I couldn't. I was going with the flow, and I couldn't be a proper project manager in that project. So because a lot of things were failing from the client side, which affected our work, and then I couldn't handle it. So I mean, but luckily, when we worked at UX Studio, we always had the backup from our colleagues, and Jolty was the other designer, and then the researcher was Timmy. But we were working at some point. We were always helping each other and be always clear with the client of the problems, mm-hmm. and face them with the problems that we were having, mm-hmm. And I think that was kind of it didn't help on the project management side, but to be clear with the client and really face them and see, okay, this is not working. There is a lot of problems. How do we solve? It was very good, because you kind of build like that bonding trust with them, and which already helped to solve some of the problems. So then we worked together with the client to solve those problems, and then we started to organize our process better, and then we started to have a proper process. It was like to have like meetings in the morning, like a proper. We had sprint plannings, We started to organize better the tasks in Trello, but it was like in the beginning was such a mess that I was, being stressed about it for no reason. If we would have talked earlier with them.
I see. I was just checking for the red square.
Oh, okay.
That indicates that it's still recording, which is good.
Okay.
I don't want things to fail. But no, thank you for sharing that as an experience of turning it back into a good direction.
What about you? Did you ever experience?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, do you want to know any specifics? Do you want to know
one that affected you? Like,
one that affected me? Okay.
The most that you still think about it and it gives you nightmares.
Yeah, you should not have those in your life. I mean, you should be able to clean yourself mentally and to kind of not forget, but deal with it so that you can let go. Well, yeah, I've had those. So there was one experience when, I find that working with friends or friends of friends can be really difficult because you don't have that detachment, them being purely a client. It can be a tricky situation in which you kind of are still doing a favor and kind of still getting paid.
You mean working for friends, not with friends?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we've had an experience where we were asked, this is really kind of a friends asking for cheap work, as I said, and also kind of a way that it was a favor in the end. At least I thought that we were doing him a favor. So this guy is a musician. We had to shoot, 3 different videos for him. It's really not UX or not design work, but I was experimenting with shooting drum covers for my friend. I was doing that for free, and then my friend's friends asked us to do the same. And he briefed us in a very simple way that we should be doing exactly what we've shown in the reference video, which was a cheap-ass setup with, 2 lights, a few cameras, 1 GoPro. Shouldn't be a complicated thing. It's really a no-budget category video, and we went there. We've set up we've set up the equipment and recorded a 3-camera thing. We've handed off the footage because in the end, he would be the one editing it because he was doing different rudiments on a cajon, the instrument.
No.
You have that in, I believe, in Portugal and in Spain also. It's like a wooden
the
box that you sit on.
I didn't know the name.
It's called CAJON.
Okay.
Either cajon or cajon, whatever.
Okay.
So he was doing different techniques and rudiments on it. And my take on it was that I wanted to also capture part of his face, his reactions on improvisation, all that. So we handed off the footage. He was not happy. He said that it's shit. He said that we couldn't have been doing a worse job.
Really?
He said that he wants his money back. He said that now he has to kind of start over. He fortunately already paid us. I didn't give the money back though, because I found that if you, pay for a service, even if the service is bad, you're not asking for the full refund. Yeah. If the work has already been done, if you've already eaten the pizza, you're not asking for the price, even though it was a bad pizza. I find that to be more frequent in creative communities than in other businesses. It's I think.
You mean clients asking the money back for the bad?
Or I just having shitty deals with designers and graphic designers especially.
Yeah.
Like create a logo for me for free. Why would you do that? But it happens more often than we think.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a weird situation. And I think we did a decent job and learned from the part. I mean, what I've took away from that is that if you don't have clear and precise enough brief in writing, you can forget about it. The client can change his mind very easily, and if he's not diplomatic enough and elegant in the way that, okay, even if the job turned out to be a shitty job, he'll move on. He'll do different things, and not start knocking on the door for his money. So yeah, that was one of the failures where I felt that we've delivered something good and good quality, and we were not treated in the right manner.
Yeah, maybe to
and I couldn't turn around. So the whole reason why I've shared this story with you is that it's one that I feel was kind of unresolved and stayed that way, and there was no relief at the end.
No,
not really.
But you learn. At least
I've
you
learned from
something.
it. Yeah, sure.
So there you go. You
Yeah.
got something good from that.
I can take that with me. Sure.
Okay, but maybe in those cases, I mean, I know he was your friend and everything. That's why sometimes, not sometimes, almost all the time, it's good to have like at least a contract.
I know. Have you had a contract for every job you've done?
No. But that's why I'm saying. I mean, so
Yeah.
working with friends, you're not going to write a contract because, I mean, first
You assume that you have the trust.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
You assume that you have the relationship that you can start working in, and actually it turns out to be not true.
Yeah. Well, but now
but
next time do a contract. No, but I should. Yeah, so not as you mentioned. Not. I don't even do contracts sometimes. Depends on the work. If it's for closer friends, then I don't even think about it. Yeah, can happen.
Yeah. So there's that.
Cool.
Have you got enough water for you?
Yeah, it's good.
Let's see what we have there. I mean, we've touched on a number of things.
I want to cover one thing.
What
because I know
that?
you're a very sporty guy.
Sporty guy. Oh my god.
And I'm not.
And you're not.
Yeah. So I
You
would
do
like
surfing.
I did a
You
long
did.
time ago.
You
No,
will
but
do it
actually
again.
something that nowadays I feel that I started to run, and every
Okay.
time I run, I feel more. So if I do it in the morning, I feel more.
How long are your runs?
Not that long. I mean,
It doesn't have to
half
be. I
an
mean,
hour.
4 kilometers.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, between 4 and 5. But if I work in the morning, I feel more pumped up for the day. And if I work at the end of the day, if I don't do it in the morning, I feel that it's even better because all the stress goes away. But if I can, I will never do sports again in my life because I don't like it. I mean, it's not in me. But now I learn how to enjoy to run. And you know what made me start to go to run?
What?
It was an app. It was the Nike
Run Club.
Run
I mean,
Club.
that's
Yeah.
their base app, what they have.
Man, that app made Coach Bennett is my is my new friend.
Maybe it's not the running app, though. I mean,
It
or that you sign up for a coach.
No. So the app has like some assisted runs
Okay.
where you running and you have a guy talking to you saying, "Oh, you're doing good." Yeah.
That's great. I didn't know it was there.
And I mean, they have like that gamification with the badges, like standard
Okay.
thing, and then they
Checkpoints, achievements.
yeah. And
Prizes.
that app was the only reason that I started to
That's amazing.
to run, and I kind of enjoy. And I mean, it might sound ridiculous that I have a guy with pre-recorded sentences talking
No, it does
to
not.
me,
It's perfectly reasonable.
but I feel like the guy's saying, "Oh, you're doing good," and I feel good,
Yeah,
about myself. And then he stops, and then I hear some music, but it's kind of makes me also distracted, and takes my mind out of the daily struggles. But that was because I don't think I would if it wouldn't be for that. And now the running, I wouldn't do any sports. But how does it make you feel? How does it affect your life?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call myself an overly sporty guy. I think I mildly train. From time to time, I have periods when I do it in more, consistent manner. So there are times when I go to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week, and that's kind of the max that I can take out of myself, or not take out, but that's kind of the max that I found kind of life lets me do. And there are periods when I'm either sick for 1.5 weeks, and I'm currently at the end of a period like that. Hopefully it will go away. I'm fighting a cold. Maybe even my voice is a bit different. But what I find very, very good in sport is partly the health benefits that you get and the energy levels that you can operate on from day to day. So if you run regularly, your energy levels will be much more settled and much more consistent. At least that's what I found exercise to be helpful in. So that's one part, and the other part is really the full stress relief that you get.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more a mental break, kind of a mental cleanse, than it is purely a physical exercise that I do. I do find a lot of the exercises to be very boring. I listen to music during it, or listen to podcasts or whatever. I do very quick trainings currently with body weight techniques without any special equipment, like the pull-up bar and a yoga mat and stuff like that. And I even kind of turn the lunch break around and use that period of the day to have a 20-minute quick workout, and then getting back to work fully kind of was extended to an hour.
It helps you
In
the afternoon?
I found it to be tremendously helpful, really. I can rarely do it now because, you get flooded with things, and then you start not having your gym bag around with you, and stuff like that. It can slip very easily. That's one thing with exercise, that if you can make it consistent, that's when it's helping you the most, and that's when it keeps you up. And also, obviously, one aspect is the body aspect, like how you feel in your skin and how you feel in your body and with your body. If you can take it to a point where you think you should look that way, that's very good. I mean, if you reach that, and previously thought of it as you being unable to reach it, and then getting to that point, it's a great accomplishment.
And I mainly mentioned this sport thing because previously you mentioned the burnout thing. And that was actually, this is, for me, it's a bit related, because when I started to run, I felt that less, how do you say? Since I feel more pumped up for the day, I feel that it can help you on any kind of burnout that you might have.
Yeah.
Because, I just thought about it because, you mentioned the burnout, and it's something that most of us go through that phase sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
I was just thinking that sports can be a very good good way for you to avoid that burnout. So because it takes your mind out of it, it might help your brain. And
I really think it does, and I do find days when I cannot work out or have not been working out for several days to be very difficult. I don't find any there's no point in the day where I have this freeing experience, this feeling of ecstasy, basically, that will take away any thought that I have. And then basically it's a reboot for my brain, and then I can go back to the task with a fresher eye and a fresher mind, and start tackling all those things that we have. But yeah, it's something that can be very hard to fit in your day, but if you can make it work,
if you make it more regular,
tremendously.
And I felt that when, as I mentioned, I started to run more recently, thanks to Coach Bennett and the Nike app.
Go Coach Bennett.
But that helped me a lot. This is just, because you mentioned the burnout, and I think it. Did you ever been to something like that?
Yeah, and I was not exercising at that point, really. I was.
So actually, that's interesting because
Yeah. So I don't
relate.
actually know how burnout feels when I do consistent trainings. So yeah, there was a period in my time where I was working as an art director at a small, like a boutique agency, for around 6 months, and there was a point where I felt that I will no longer be able to create anything that's of good quality and of a decent quality, which is bad. I think you shouldn't get to a place where you feel like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, I was 24, and it's
That was early.
ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous to feel like that at that point. There's no point in it. Either I was doing things the wrong way. I was taking feedback the wrong way, and I should have been reaching out more, asking for more help, which I thought I was not able to do. So that's actually a very valuable lesson that you gave me, that even in those cases, if you feel like you cannot operate, actually really ask for help. There's no way of getting around it. You won't get smarter in one day.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't actually know whether exercise would have helped. I think yes. I think exercise, once you have that moment of ecstasy, that moment of feeling good, it kind of gives you a kick in confidence. So when you go back to meet with someone, you've already done something that was hard for you. That's why it's a small period of suffering. With those weights or not weights, whatever you do with your run, you get out of breath. It gets exhausting, but when you actually stop, then it becomes very good. So if you have that kick, that's basically an energy boost in every sense of the word.
This is something that I will try to do more regularly for sure, because recently I had like just kind of a burnout, not like a big one, but that I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't even want to learn anything new. So I was depressed is a very strong word. I've never been depressed in my life, but I felt like very down, and I didn't care about I didn't have any. I was not happy with the work I was doing. I didn't care if people liked or not, and it's not a good state to be in.
No.
And then I had to kind of reset everything.
Were you conscious of?
Oh yeah.
Of it?
Yeah. And I honestly didn't care.
Wow.
Because I was conscious that okay, the work, the feedback was not bad. I mean, but again, what's more important for me, it's not the feedback from other people, it's what I feel. And I felt that I was not doing my best, and I didn't care. So I kind of, and I gave a step back, and now I try to do some things more creative in my spare time. Like I even now starting to do, not now, but previously, like those courses, drawing courses, because in high school I studied arts, but then I stopped drawing and everything. And now, for example, my nephew is an artist. He's a painter. He does comics. And just to see him like a young kid he's 19, but
that's young.
Yeah, but just to see him like inspired and okay, I want to follow this. I want to do comics and painting for my life. It kind of also inspires me, to see like a young person.
Giving his best.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of need that. You also have to fill your mind with some creativity, or photography, for example. I mean, we talked that the other day. I have a camera that I don't use that much, but because I don't like to carry, it's like big,
heavy.
Yeah. But if we go on holidays with my girlfriend, she carries the camera, and then can I?
She carries the weight.
Yeah,
and you get to enjoy the good part.
No, it's not even the weight. I mean, it's too puff. It's like a big bag, and
you have to think of packing it. You have to take care of the batteries. You have to take care of the SD cards and
the
stuff
lenses,
like that. And the lens.
We have only 2 lenses, but for me it's already too much.
Yeah.
I take my phone, take a picture. No, but it's different to take with a picture with an SLR. It's way different, and I kind of enjoy it. Just I think I have to do more of those things in my life, not to have like another burnout per se. And another thing is the sports, as I already mentioned. So those are the two things that I'm aiming to continue to do.
Those are great. I'm also aiming for making sports be a regular part of my life. So not just doing it.
Yeah.
On.
But you enjoy to do, right?
I enjoy it very much.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't. Like
I mean, if we're talking about snowboarding, that's an easy thing to enjoy. Once you kind of get into an intermediate level, obviously exercising with weights and doing some bodybuilding stuff is not always enjoyable. You have to kind of make it enjoyable by listening to good music and or being around with friends that would do the same or aiming for the same goals that you are within the gym. I mean. But yeah.
Actually, what I don't like is the pre-exercise, like the thinking
changing
that everything
locker room,
to thinking that okay, I have to go to a gym.
Fuck that.
I have to go for a run. But when I'm doing, it's nice. And to gym, I rarely go. I only went a few times with Jolty because
where do you run in the city here?
Next to my place, there is a park called Taban.
Oh, that's a nice green area.
Yeah,
that's great.
There is like another, I don't know the names, but my house is in between two parks, that Taban and another one close to the end of the red station, the metro station. No,
I think I know what you're looking for there. It's I think it's Vérmező.
No, the name of the park.
Yes,
maybe. But yeah, that's actually even better because it's very straight. It has like a lot of space to run,
and it's green.
Yeah, and sometimes I take my dog.
Wow,
she comes with me. I mean, she walks fast and I run.
That sounds great, man.
Yeah, and actually, having a dog it helps a lot because
they like routine.
Yeah, like it makes me wake up early.
I can't wake up
very early, 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
No, yeah, sometimes 6.
If it was not for your dog, which time would you get up?
7:30.
7:30. Yeah. That's.
I hate to wake up early, but at the same time, when I do, I feel so much better. Okay.
I can't wake up early, and I really enjoy that period in the day when nothing has really started yet. There are no distractions. I don't know. The sun is still coming up, and you still have time for coffee. I don't know, for a book or whatever you would want. But I cannot make it happen. I don't know why. And I hope exercise will help with that. I mean, keeping my sleep more regulated, maybe.
But for me, it's actually a lot better to work through the night. Like if I'm working in a project that I don't have like schedule.
People are not texting you at night.
Yeah, there's absolutely no distractions. And for some reason, I feel more concentrated on my work. So after dinner, sometimes I sit on my computer and I continue, or start something.
I also
so much easier.
What is the average, end time for you? At which point can you say that, okay, I'm going to close my computer now and go back to bed?
Since I started to freelance, I cannot stay awake for too long.
Okay.
So I would say, around 10, I close my laptop.
So now 4 a.m?
No.
Okay.
It's impossible.
I've done that.
Yeah. No, I did that before, but now it's impossible. I just can't. I cannot concentrate. I cannot stay awake. But if I could, like if I wouldn't have like a dog, or if I wouldn't have a family, and if I would just be myself, for sure, I would wake up at 1 p.m. and work during the afternoon and
so family and dog equals more regulated
responsibilities.
Yeah. That's good. Do you want to talk sneakers?
Sneakers. It's a big part of our life.
Designer culture,
Yeah.
funny consumer life. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually a funny topic because when we met, like the first time on UX Studio, on the intro week, it was actually one of the questions. I was giving a talk to you and Nori about something. I don't remember what was the topic. And then all of a sudden I stopped. So what about sneakers? I think there's some sneakers that I have. Where did you buy those?
I think you had like a Nike free Flyknit type of thing on.
Oh yeah.
And it was just a piece that I thought you've bought as I don't know, a consideration. And it's a piece that you cannot find in the regular store. So I thought that you were into shoes as well.
Yeah, but that's actually quite common among designers.
So
I think.
Do you have any? I'm not I don't say I would qualify as a sneakerhead because I don't know. I know very little about. I know very little about the history of shoes and the history of designers, stuff like that. I like different silhouettes. I like different brands. I like different shapes and colors and all that. And I have quite a lot of shoes. But I don't say I would completely qualify as a sneakerhead.
I'm not a sneakerhead either.
But
I really love sneakers. I mean, I have one pair of shoes that I use for everything.
That's good. That's very good.
Only one pair of shoes. All the rest is sneakers. No, but for example, there's people. I even watch like YouTube videos about sneakers.
I do.
And that's
well.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
I remember once I was.
Do you watch the, I don't know, whatever celebrity goes to Complex to shop shoes?
That's awesome. When Neymar spent
sneaker shopping with Complex. Yeah.
Yeah. When he spent $18,000.
That's really ridiculous.
On sneakers that he probably already has. But yeah, I watch all those.
And why do you like them? What is your answer for liking them?
I think it's the design of the shoes and it's hard for me to explain. Because
why not a shirt, or why not a piece of other clothing?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
That's actually a good question. I never thought about it, but I think with a t-shirt, what can you do with a t-shirt? You can do nice prints. Yeah, that's cool. I like cool t-shirts as well. I'm not obsessed with them. I actually don't care much about. I like plain t-shirts.
Okay.
But sneakers, oh man, and this is something. For years, I didn't care about sneakers at all. I got like those rip-offs of Van shoes.
Yeah.
And I really didn't care. But when I bought my first pair of Nikes, oh man, the comfort, the design, I felt more. First
empowered.
A bit. At first it was the comfort, and then it was like, man, this looks so nice.
These are
chic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I really start to enjoy, and I think it's the things that I've spent, like clothing pieces. It's for sure sneakers that I spend more money. I don't have like any like rare or like those collaborations.
Any statement pieces that you would say are special in any way?
From the ones that I have?
Yeah.
These ones, for example, this Nike Air Force Utility, because one thing that I like to do when I travel, for example, is to buy a pair of sneakers.
Okay.
I
I think that's also one thing that I like to do. I think of it as a souvenir that also takes a piece of that city so that I can have it with me.
For example, I went to Rome 2 years ago or something.
I've bought shirts in Rome. I didn't buy any shoes in Rome.
No, but this was more ridiculous. I went to the Vatican the first time. I never been there, so yeah, nice. I saw everything. And then as soon as I left the Vatican, I passed to a sneaker shop and I saw some Adidas. What's the model? Sorry.
No problem.
The Adidas and oh man, those NMDs. A blue one that I've seen.
3-letter things. 3-letter acronyms.
Yeah. And I saw those like. I saw them on the Hypebeast websites. Oh, these are going to be. They're going to sell out soon. I was like, yeah, those are nice. I will never have them. I saw them on a shop. I was like, okay, I don't have much space in my bag, but I need to take those. And I bought them right away. So it was the best part of my trip.
Which color? Which color?
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
Like
But-
navy blue, like a darker.
No, a darker blue. Yeah. But
I don't have a lot of Adidas. I think I have two Inikis, and I have one that I don't remember the name of, but it's I have two Inikis and one other piece. I don't have an NMD.
But actually, your question of what makes me like the sneakers, I'm still thinking about it. Why do I like that so much? And I think it's.
I've rationalized it for a part. Yeah.
So why? What is your reason?
Yeah. So my take on it is that it's kind of a wearable sculpture, and it's more complex in the sense that it has more layers, it has different fabrics, it has different things that you can build a shape with. That's why it's different from all the other pieces of clothing that you wear, and that's what makes it unique in that sense. And there's so much room to play with the shape of the foot and play with the shape of the silhouette that you can really create sculptures that they're also basically are part of the fashion cycle and the whole industry, obviously. But to me, that's what makes them, kind of unique.
And sometimes it's even the same models, and they just change a bit, like the materials, like they use some type of leather, let's say, or just slightly the color.
And once you fall in love with one piece,
Yeah,
and then you have it in a different colorway or a different fabric,
it makes a big difference. One thing that I really dislike is, like, I don't care about fashion, overall. But
I mean, you care about parts of fashion, I would say.
Yeah, but for example, I don't
You
care.
don't. I think you want to say that you don't care about the trends of fashion.
Yeah, exactly. And also that I don't care about, for example, as I mentioned, I like plain T-shirts. I like simple jeans, or but the materials and the colors of the sneakers are super important for me. Even the soles. I mean, something that I never see, but as soon as I see a pair of sneakers, like, oh, the soles are nice. No one ever sees that, but just because there's like a little green accent there, it's so nice.
So good. Makes them very good.
Yeah, but you made a very good point about that's actually good. It's like you wear a sculpture and some kind of a nice piece of art.
Yeah, could be. I mean, it could be taken to almost that part and almost that space. Obviously, it can be thought of as a silly joke or anything.
Would you like to create like a pair, like creatively? I think I would like to, create like a.
Maybe
you can do it like on some websites, Nike and Adidas.
You mean the Nike ID stuff, like or things like that, like a custom build of shoe that you choose the colors and the material for?
I wouldn't like to create a new model. No, that's too much. That's another level.
Much. Yeah.
But no, meaning like create your own colors, choose the materials.
I've thought of it, and I like the idea, but I also like the idea of I don't know, buying relics of other people's intellectual property, or like if I find a designer that I really like, and if I buy their collaboration shoe or whatever,
that's a good point.
Crazy idea. I feel that I can take a piece of their knowledge or stuff like that. It could sound ridiculous.
No.
Could sound nuts, but that's how I feel about it.
Cool. So that's actually a good point. But the designers who create, do you have like...
Not all, I mean, if we're talking collaboration pieces, so not the regular pieces that come with a seasonal collection or anything like that. But I know there's a brand called Acronym. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No.
It's run by a guy called Hugh Errolson, and I've found his work to be really in the technical wear scene. And he kind of puts Nikes on steroids, and the shoes that come out are rather nice and interesting, I would say. So
I have to take a look.
Yeah, look them up. I'll send you some.
Nice, sounds good.
Thank you for being so generous with your time. I think
thank you.
We can close it off here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're one of the first guests to be here and to build this thing up. So really, thank you for that.
And good luck with your podcast project.
Podcast
Sounds very
project.
exciting.
Thanks for being here. Really.
Thank you.